and because of that, they could save more into retirement. Because of that, they could spend more on traveling, right? So the opportunities were so much. How many people do you know that used to go to Disney on a yearly basis, as an example?
That's all you had to say? I get it now. I actually get it now.
Would you wear a suit every day to work?
I wouldn't. I barely want to wear pants. I wear shorts. I mean, I just wear shorts.
Okay, look. All I'm saying, this is gonna be such a boomer hater, but all I'm saying is that a lot of corporate or a lot of jobs want you to dress professionally, to wear a suit, to be respectful, but they don't pay you in a respectable fashion, right? So they want you to be top of the morning, hello, what's up? Changing your voice, being the best and most presentable version of yourself, clean shaved, perfect haircut, right? And then they're like, yeah, your wage is $10 an hour. Can you live off of $10 an hour? Fudge no, bro.
Dude, that's too much work. You said I'm not even clean shaven. My hair is a mess.
Okay,
It's over.
it's like I'm not a fan of what professionalism is. The idea of you have to be professional to be respected or be treated. Luckily, the younger generations we're starting to hate what professionalism is, and we're just being ourselves, and that's more natural now, and it's seen as more comfortable, which I'm glad, because I've always been such an anarchist of professionalism. I think wearing a suit is such a fake. It's like judging a book by its cover. I think that's really what professionalism is, where you judge the person based on how they look, but then they start talking and you realize they're an idiot. We've all gone to buy a car, bro. They're all dressed, nice, but sometimes some of them are snakes, bro. Like, I mean,
I've seen some pretty good looking people that are not the brightest just because they're in a suit and such. So it checks out.
are you saying because they're attractive or because
No, because you said
good
people are
looking
dumb
people?
in a suit and like, oh, you look
Yeah,
good in a suit.
yeah, but you said good looking people, and I'm
Well,
like,
yeah.
okay.
Well, how else do you look good? You're in
Give
a
it
suit
up.
right now. Ugly as fuck. I'm in my ugly as fuck era. But you know
Uh,
what? If I had a suit on, most attractive person you've ever seen. Maybe a quick trim. Ooh. By the way, professionalism is so funny. I'll have you guys know. This guy on his own TikTok account, instead of arguing or anything like that, he just says correct. I was I saw a video of yours and I was looking at the replies and I was like, you are so annoying because you were just ignoring the responses and you're just like correct. And we had a discussion about this, but the whole time I was reading the replies, I was like, how could he do this?
they're not wrong though. If I say correct, I agree with you. The thing is, in 30 seconds or 20 seconds of your time, do you think I can tell you how the Mona Lisa was drawn? No, bro. Like, I don't have the time, dude. I can't tell you stencil by stencil, line by line, but I can tell you, hey, this is a general idea. And then people want to argue with you, by the way. But what if I told you I agreed with you from the very beginning? I just don't have the time to explain it in 30 seconds.
That's cope. That's
What?
cope. I know that's what he's saying. It's not what he does though. I'm
Uh,
gonna I don't think you believe in that
I
yourself.
do. I genuinely like, if I disagreed with the person, I would not reply correct, if I'm honest. I usually just give them a heart react, and then I just keep scrolling because they gave engagement. Okay, thank you so much for leaving a comment. I don't agree with you, but here's a heart react. But the ones that I do agree with, you'll see me say correct, kind of thing.
I think life is too short to like you gave me an engagement comment. I'm so like I'm
Yeah,
like if someone bothers me so much about it or like someone says an opinion I like disagree, I'm just not even gonna bother looking that way.
My most viewed video is on Instagram. I think it's over 300,000 at this point. It literally has people that have been arguing in that same comment section for months, bro.
What's the
But it's one of those
context?
things. Why bother?
Wait,
Why
what's
bother?
going on in there?
What's the context? I say something company did wrong, and then people are arguing about whether the company is valid in their reasoning or not. And people have been commenting on it for months. The same people too sometimes, because it's like a line, right? It's like a complete. It's hilarious to me, by the way.
Leave the
It is really funny.
multi-billion-dollar company alone.
Yeah, literally. They're great people, bro. Give me, leave them alone. It's
That's
comedic. It's really funny to me. But
it.
what's the point in me going back and arguing and saying, "Yeah, you're right, bro"?
See, I'm not saying you have to argue, but or you don't even have to agree because professionalism sometimes is just being like, I can see why you said that. Sounds good, right? But the whole correct to 20 messages is so funny. Like
Okay,
that's what I'm talking
I got
about. When it's the same
I have a
response,
professionalism. Okay, guys, it's been 5 minutes that you've been watching. Minimum, you've been watching for 5 minutes. If you've been enjoying our video, make sure to subscribe or follow if you're watching or listening on Spotify. And make sure to leave a comment saying what you think about professionalism. Because if you hate it, you can say that. And if you like it, you can say that. And then I'll just heart react to you.
to the people who do say something, do you enjoy wearing a suit? Like, because I enjoy wearing one and I'll look good, but just for a day. And then I'm over it. But going
That's
constantly
very
to
different. That's very different to my argument.
no,
My
but that's
argument.
what. But you didn't even let me finish. I was gonna
Go ahead.
say, but compared to a job that makes you be like, hey, you have to dress a certain way each time. That's a whole different story. And and that's why I mentioned I like doing it the one time, but doing it constantly, dude, I'm nothing without my shorts and sandals. Let it be known, it was 50 degrees outside this morning. I went to the doctor's, not feeling the greatest, right? I put on socks. I have socks on right now.
You put on
I'm
socks in your
very
sandals,
sad.
bro.
Huh?
You put socks in your sandals.
Yes, it's devastating. I feel atrocious. It's ugly. And that's because
Just
that is a
show
that's a
us the fit, honey. Actually, just show us the fit.
show shows
Show us the fit.
look at
Show
that.
us the fit.
Boom!
Get up. Show us the fit. Show us
Got
the
the
fit.
I got my shorts on. See that?
Uh-huh.
Comfortable leg axes. We got comfortable leg axes.
What the hell, man?
You
Oh
already
man, that's
know.
cool.
But imagine me wearing pants, wearing socks. I hate it. Yeah, I'm privileged that I don't have to do that constantly. But how do you feel
Yeah.
about it? Do you like that? Maybe that's something you enjoy. Let us know in the comments below. Anyways.
Look, my argument is that I hate the idea of why people are dressed in professional or why the professionalism is designed, right? Because I think it's different to say be respectful and then it's different to say be professional. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So all I'm saying, my argument is not you should be a douchebag at work. What I'm saying is that there's a separation of what people would want you to be, right? So they just want you to walk this line of professionalism and not deviate from it, which is don't be yourself. I think professionalism to some extent is fitting the mold of the company or the business or your position. But sometimes it just there's no reason to, bro. Like there's no reason to be as professional as some businesses want you to be. There's no point. It's a waste of my time.
I think that's why people find like social media accounts for certain businesses or platforms like very
Mhm.
funny because they're just a regular person at the end of the day. You ever see like the Wendy's Twitter account that got really popular just for doing these
Yeah,
clapbacks at like certain
it's
accounts?
removing professionalism, right? And
Yeah.
and it becomes famous or they gain popularity because it's not professional. But in some sense, that's the gimmick. It's not a professional account, or it's not being it's not consuming in or interacting in professionalism.
Well, I'm sure the more you have this discussion, the more some people will agree where the fine line is.
Yeah,
Because
true.
you can do certain
Yeah,
things, but another person will see it another way. It's a whole mess. The line is just so curvy or something because there's so many like checks that is
yeah,
professionalism to someone while it isn't for another.
yeah. I guess like right, the bar of professionalism would be not necessarily shorts, but I would say like jeans or pants or whatever, right? And I also understand the idea of why you dress for a certain job because you're dressing for the role so that you can be interpreted for that role when you show up, right?
Yeah.
So if you go to a restaurant and everybody's dressed in casual clothes, you don't know who works there. So I I understand why we dress in certain ways, but I'm not a fan of it, if that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Uh, how about this for thought? You reminded me that in high school when we would do theater pieces for like solo and duets, we would always have to be suited up. Everyone has to be suited up. They present themselves. That's just how it was.
Mhm.
I always thought the concept was very funny because in these solos and duets, you just go all over the place, especially if it's like a comedy.
Yeah,
Like the motions you do, like you're jumping around, you're going left to right, and doing this all in a business suit, it feels like they're like opposites, right? At least that's how I've always seen it. And so I thought it was strange that I'm like, I feel so tight in my suit and I'm trying to make these crazy motions that everyone else is. We did
it's
talk.
limiting,
Yeah.
right? That's the idea is that it's being professional causes limitations. I hate boomers, bro. All right, you want me to say it? I said
I've
it,
been waiting
bro.
this whole
Okay,
time. When
boomers
was he
are
going to
cringe,
say it?
dude. Huh?
I was waiting the whole time. I was like, when is he going to say it?
When is he gonna say it? Boomers are cringe, dude. They they have this idea that you're getting paid a livable wage and you're chilling. No, bro, I'm not getting paid shit. I'm not gonna do my part if I'm not even getting paid a livable wage. And it's really comedic because I understood why boomers were very into professionalism because they were getting paid well, bro. You could raise your whole family off of $10 an hour, but you can't do that anymore. So that is why boomers were so into professionalism, not necessarily professional, which I think is two different things. They were professionals. They were very into professionalism. So being respected for their role kind of thing. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Well, the way you're saying this makes me think you have a price tag for professionalism. Like, if we reach that certain mark, I'm down to be professional. What's
Yeah,
the
if I have
price
enough
tag?
money, if you have enough money to buy the clothes,
Uh huh.
if you have enough money to go home and enjoy your life and then come back and be respected at work for your efforts, wow, that's crazy. That's
But how
crazy.
much is that? Before it was $10 an hour. What is it now for you?
Minimum wage, if it went up with inflation, I think the metric I saw was New York, or it could be for nationwide, but it's like $32 an hour.
So you think at $32 an hour you'd be? That's pretty funny number because I worked a $32 an hour job and it was the most laid back. Everyone didn't care and dressed up pretty badly.
What are we doing?
Let's not talk about it. Anyways,
Okay.
no, I also do with the government.
Okay.
That's about it. But
Fascinating.
like I worked the night shift
Secret
and all I
operative
did was walked
hyping.
around. All I did was walk around.
Secret operative hyping.
Yeah, that's as much as I'll get into that one.
Well, it's really funny because you're wearing shorts and then you're saying, "Yeah, I was doing something sus."
I guess that's fair.
Yeah, secret operative hyping.
I be doing my own thing sometimes. It's just food delivery, dude. Oh, honestly though, with food delivery, I was always making like 25 an hour. I mean, I know we could talk about like car expenses and
During
this and that.
COVID.
During COVID, no, like even after. During COVID, that was peak. That was like $40 an hour because everyone was just donating their stimulus fund to the tip. They were like,
Yeah.
"Hey, you're the real heroes," and I was like, "Thank you so
No,
much."
I'm not. Thank you for
Yeah,
your money.
I was like, I just crossed the highway a while ago.
Out here. Yeah.
There was no one else out there. It was
Yeah.
just me, dude. That time
It
was
was
actually
really
kind of cool.
crazy when COVID was happening, and then if you were in I was in my early 20s, it didn't really matter in the sense of if I had COVID, it wasn't an issue until they said you could have forever COVID, and I was like, "Fudge, bro. If I got forever COVID, I hate it." Because people are saying that you could lose your sense of taste if you got
Yeah,
forever COVID, and
smell
I'm
too,
just
right?
thinking sitting there thinking, "Fudge. Now I don't wanna get COVID," right?
Did you ever get COVID?
No,
Never.
never. No, I was too OP.
Oh,
I
damn.
was built different
In what way?
genetically.
I guess I can't argue with that. Go, going back to professionalism, even I think it also depends on the job or what you're doing, right? Because sometimes you just don't want to put up with something. Is that the idea?
I don't think it's that, "Oh, I don't wanna put up with that." I think it's more of the expectations that are put onto you without the resources or the respect that someone would get. So, let's say you're a boomer, you're like 20 and you're making a livable wage because they were. Fudge them. But if someone's being a douche to you, it's not as big of a personal impact because at the end of the day, you get to go home and you get to feel respected because of the wage that you're getting. And I think that's why a lot of boomers constantly look at millennials or Gen Z with disgust because we don't feel treated or respected in any way. But the thing is, we're just not making enough money to feel respected because when you go home and you see your paycheck, it's trash. So you're being disrespected financially, you're being disrespected at work. So you'd rather just quit than to continue being disrespected at work. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I do think it's crazy how it's getting common to where someone will judge someone for living off paycheck to paycheck, but that's just the reality of it nowadays.
Yeah, it is.
You could be a single person just renting a place and paycheck to paycheck is just barely enough to get by. Like that's how expensive it could be. Obviously, depending on your location, your situation, right? But man,
Yeah.
I think that's insane.
It's rough. And I think that's why it's normal to live with your parents now.
Yeah, I feel like it's very common to hear that it's either people live with their parents or they ended up moving back with
The
them.
title of this video is, I just thought about it. Boomers ruined everything. Which they did. In my okay, it's just comedic that the stock market's up, but everything else is just trash. But if you have money in the stock market, congrats, you're still rich.
How did you go from that's why people live with their parents, boomers ruined everything?
Rumors did ruin everything because they got to buy a house. They got to have a good time. They get to have kids. The reason the birth rate is so low is because it just doesn't make sense financially to have a kid right now. I just can't. It's not even an option. It's like if I go and date someone right now, the idea of having kids with them is not an option for me simply because I just don't have the money for it. Why am I gonna suffer for? I think the most expensive your kid is probably when they're toddlers. Why am I gonna suffer for 7 years of financial suffering for what, dude? Like I'm basically gonna be begging my parents for money.
It's also kind of crazy. The situation is so bad. I hear a lot of couples debate whether they want children or a house first.
Damn.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Before you can do both.
Yeah, because if you do both, well, first of all, good luck. I wish you the best of luck. but it is hard, and it's a lot of work in terms of like keeping the money for the house, dealing with the child, and securing the house. Because with the house market right now, it's pretty up there. Not making enough money for your own child is pretty up there. It feels like there's just so many like
Okay.
concerns with the possibility, right?
Yeah. You want kids?
No, definitely not.
I think I do have baby fever here and there, but being 29 now, I think the older I get, the trickier I get because it's the acknowledgement of what my age would be when my child would graduate high school.
Oh, that's affecting how you'd feel?
I think it's something that I'm beginning to be thoughtful about, kind of thing. So
I didn't even think about that. If you have a kid right now, you'd be 48 if they graduated high school?
47.
Well, let's be realistic. It's not like you're just gonna walk outside of your house and get someone pregnant, right? I gave you a year. I
All
gave
right.
you a
Yeah,
year.
yeah, yeah. You gave me a year. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You're right.
It takes 9 months. It takes 9 months.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You're right. You're right. Yeah, I'd be 48 when they graduate high school, which is actually young, actually.
Okay.
In theory, in scale, it is young, I would say, because you can live up to 80 on average. So you still have 30 more years after their high school graduation.
I have terrible news, guys. This podcast is going on for 50 years at most. We're running out of time.
It's over.
It's gonna be like the 1,000,
But
1,800,000
it
like
is
episode.
yeah, it's really interesting though seeing how few people from high school, because I mean everybody has everyone added from high school or college,
Okay.
how few people actually had kids in their early 20s.
In comparison to like the older generations,
Comedically, it sounds a little bad, but comedically, the people that did have more kids were the people that had kids when they were in high school. So
I
they got
think
pregnant in high school and then they had more kids because they felt like it was, "Oh, we already have one, like, now we can have more," kinda thing.
there was this girl who got pregnant twice before she even graduated, and I was like, dang. Look, I didn't say, okay, everyone
Where are
is,
their parents? You know, it's one of those things where you're just wondering where are the parents? The parents are enabling this? It's very possible, by the way. Some
that,
parents
I'll take care of them. I'll take care of
enable.
them.
Yeah, yeah,
That's bien, that's bien.
yeah. I wanna be a grandma, like, their whole childhood, and then your parents decide your life, bro, so much more than I think what a lot of people acknowledge.
Well, I think that it depends on the relationship you have with them, right?
That's why they decide it, because their shitty relationship with you could also decide for your
Okay.
You're like you're thinking, "What if they have a bad relationship?" I'm like, "Yeah, there's
That's
they
probably
still
why
get to."
they're in that situation, honestly.
Yeah, they still had an option, had a choice there.
I just I can't see. Okay, first of all, okay, I have you gotta understand my perspective. I'd had baby fever once, and it lasted like 10 minutes, and immediately what would stop me again is just the thought of like the whole process, but specifically the money. Um, Needing to sustain for another person in this economy is so brutal. I think that'll be enough to convince me to be like, we don't need another little gup in the house.
Which is valid. I think
Unless they
it's
hit it
normal,
big,
it's okay. Huh?
unless they hit it big, and then I'm like, ooh. What do you think about that
I
mentality?
think it sucks, like, hit it big in the sense of winning the jackpot or something.
It's like some parents have multiple children in hopes that one of them will be so successful in their future that they'll take care of
That's
them.
it used to be like that, bro, by the way. The reason I don't know if you remember, but the reason 50 or 60 years ago, your grandparents or your great grandparents had like 8 kids is because that was actually the idea. You're having kids for your retirement. You're having kids for your retirement, and you're having kids so they can help you with chores, because before it was very chore heavy, or there was more tasks,
Mm.
or sounds bad, but like teen labor was more common or more prevalent 50 years ago than it is now. Now we have so many laws that say, oh, like teenage, or like the amount of money a teenager can make is so shit. So they're not even self-sustaining at the age of 14 or 15 anymore, whereas before they were, right? So before, if you had a kid and then they reach 14 or 15, they can go work and then they're self-sustaining, and they increase how much money you have available at the end of the week, because it's kind of like it pamps. I don't know if that's the right word, but it kind of gives you a higher ceiling, if that makes sense,
Yeah.
because the amount of money that you have to spend on that kid is now reduced, and they sometimes even give you more money to be able to pay for, let's say, the mortgage, the electricity, the light, their phone bill, etc. So you get you used to, not anymore, you used to get benefits out of your kid becoming a teenager, but now you don't. Now they're just a mouth to feed till they're moved out.
The return investment is so bad, man.
Yeah, I think that's just the facts, because my grandma, both my grandparents actually had each family, I think 6 or 8 kids,
Oh,
because
yeah.
it was worth it.
Yeah, same,
It
same.
just makes so much sense. Like, the food, everything was cheaper to have a kid, and you had so many benefits long term went from having a kid, but now you just don't. I think they all worked at what by the time they were 13 or 14. Or they help with
That's
chores,
that's
right?
crazy.
That's too.
That's the help around the house definitely is huge. Kind
Is that
of
your
a
final thoughts on
no, it's
that?
sorry. Sorry, I was
Yeah,
like,
they help around the house. That's what kids are for. Woo!
well,
That's how I this conversation.
you gotta understand from my perspective, like I don't want kids. I've never really thought about it, right? Or
Yeah.
like I've never thought about it in the sense that, well, if I had a kid, this would be easier. I have
Okay.
had a nephew that I've grown up with that's very like, if you want me to jump off the cliff, I'll jump off the cliff. And I'm like, just turn off the fan. That's okay. Like, you know what I mean? But that's why I don't see it like as an advantage. Like, I think anyone else could have helped you if you had the favor, but obviously, if you have a kid in the house, that's cool.
It's just crazy. Yeah, that's the conversation though. We can't have kids. Boomers suck. Professionalism is cringe. Boomers ruined everything.
You're, you think, but why do you think they ruined everything? Because of inflation still going up?
Um, there used to be a widespread amount of money distribution, and now, because you've saved enough money for your retirement, generally most of them, not all of them did. A lot of them are very broke and very poor. But you bought a house for, let's say, 50,000 or $30,000 40 or 30 years ago, right? That went up to 200,000. So your valuation as a person went up insanely compared to someone who is starting off at this time. Like, they're starting their life at this time. Because now, if they buy a house for 200, my house was 220. If you buy my house at 220, the return on investment is just not, the value of the dollar has to go down so much for me to become like a house millionaire kind of thing. But there are some people whose value just for existing has gone up, like
Just for
buying a house.
existing?
Yeah, you bought a house and then you just kept paying the house, and then your house just kept going in value, but your mortgage payment did not change. You paid a small amount every single month, but your house kept going up in value throughout all
Oh,
those years.
I get you.
Maybe in 2008, you said, "Oh shit, there's a bank crisis or there's a mortgage loan crisis." But after that, I mean, if you just didn't sell your house, well, you couldn't sell your house rather. But if you survived that, you're chilling.
Kind of like a stock in a way.
Yeah. So even though as a boomer, you didn't even spend money or you didn't even put money on the stock market, you still won. As long as you buy a house. If you didn't buy a house, you're cooked, dude. I'm sorry. If you were a boomer and you didn't try to buy a house at the best time to buy a house in 2008, you're trolling. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, boomer watching this.
It's so crazy that we have to go all the way back to 2008. That's 17 years ago.
It's not even that far away. Yeah, it's crazy.
You don't think that's far away? It's 17 years. That's
I
like,
It's just crazy how easy it would have been to buy a house at that time because they were giving loans to everybody. So if you had the money to buy a lot of these houses, dude, you won. Because those house valuations went up after, let's say, 5 years after the crash. 5 or 6 years after the crash, if you still own that property, you could sell it and make money on it.
that sounds
As
one of
long as you kept
those. It sounds like one of those stories where it's like guy who didn't sell his Bitcoin, finds
it.
out.
But you have to consider it was really hard to get a job. It was during the recession.
Yeah.
So it's in such big letters that your goal is survive, like Halo Reach kind of
The
shit.
objective, like,
It's like objective survive because if you did, you win. But if you don't, you have to sell the house at a loss and you lose. Because that's what I'm trying to get at. Where if you were if you bought a house during that time but had to sell because you were too broke or you didn't have a job because the recession just hit and they were laying off people, if you stumbled and had even if you were winning beforehand, you lost a lot realistically. That's why though anyone that's in their 40s, 50s, 60s and that owns a house, they're chilling. They're chilling. Like they're chilling, dude. They bought a house when it was cheap, so the amount of percentage of their money being used to buy or for their mortgage, right, was very low. And because of that, they could save more into retirement. Because of that, they could spend more on traveling, right? So the opportunities were so many. How many people do you know that used to go to Disney on a yearly basis, as an example?
that's all you had to say? I get it now. I actually get it now. Dude, that is so true though. That was a
Before,
constant
yeah.
trip that people would do where everyone
Yeah.
is like, oh, we want to go to Disney and this and that. You can't even live the American dream anymore of going to Disney World. What's the point?
I remember in high school, people weren't even well off. They were, I mean, we're from broke as shit,
Uh-huh.
and even they would say, "Oh yeah, we saved enough money to go to Disney, or whatever." The thing is that it's now too expensive that you can't go to amusement parks if you're traveling. You're, I mean, you're cooked, dude.
Guys, I used to get a number 13 from Whataburger for 6.32. That was in 2012. Now, if you get a number 13 at Whataburger, it is $10. I'm devastated.
It is crazy how fast things are inflating.
Yeah, I know
The dollar
everyone.
down in value.
Everyone usually compares the price of canes. The box combo
Yeah,
is now what the Caniac combo used to cost.
that's crazy. Oh look, there's a flag.
I saw it.
That is insane, dude. We're cooked.
Yeah,
Who do you blame? Do you blame the boomers or do you blame someone else?
I think I gotta. The issue is I don't think I want to blame the boomers, but someone's doing this. I gotta point my finger somewhere. I guess it is the boomers.
No, well, you're right. It isn't it isn't fair to say one person or one group of people caused the whole problem because that's not true. I do agree with you. It wasn't all the boomers. You're right, guys. You got me. You got me. All I'm saying is though, because a lot of boomers succeeded by doing nothing, a lot of them look at millennials and Gen Z as leeches because they're not able to succeed with the same things that a boomer might have been doing. So working at McDonald's and you could still buy a house and shit, right? But now it's just so realistically impossible. Even
Yeah.
if you're, let's say, a manager at McDonald's, it's just you just can't do it. But before it was possible, right? Where if you're a manager at McDonald's or Burger King or whatever the hell, you have opportunities, whereas now you don't.
Honestly, you just need to win the
The
McDonald's
lottery.
promo code right now, and you're back in business. They got the stickers, dude. If you get enough McDonald's, you just make it big. This is the lottery ticket we've been looking for.
Back to our conversation on the whole crypto thing and everything. The reason people are gambling as bad as we are, so you have better, even though, by the way, gambling is bad. Even though gambling is bad, you're actually better off gambling than spending all your money saving it up. If you're working minimum. If you're working higher than minimum, more opportunity, so it's better for you to save, right? So the opportunity percentage changes depending on how much money you're making. If you're making very little and you have no opportunity for growth, you're more beneficial. You have more benefit in gambling, and it sucks though. It sucks that that's just the reality.
I have heard of that just because when you keep your money in a savings with inflation going on, nothing's really happening to it. But that's why people tell you to invest, right? Because
Because you're cooked, dude.
no,
You're
because
just
it grows with the economy in theory.
you're just cooked. Yeah,
Like
when we were kids, actually, did you know you you were charged for investing in the stock market?
I feel like
That's
I knew
crazy,
that
right?
at one point, but like
It's not
probably
a
in high
thing
school.
anymore. It's free. Free.
They got rid of the free investment fee?
No, no, no. As in, like you don't get charged for. You don't get charged. It's
Oh, you're saying in terms of like buying stocks.
yeah. If you buy stock now,
Yeah.
you don't get charged. You still get taxed, I think, if you cash out, kind of thing, but you don't get charged
Well,
anymore. I'm pretty sure you were.
there's some brokers that still charge, but they have like different ups and downs for it.
Yeah, it's the same old school ones. Realistically,
I guess that's true.
the where they used to charge from the beginning, and then they say, "Oh, you get a certain percentage of return every single year, no matter what." It's kind of like a guarantee, right? So you're getting charged for the guarantee, but it's just depends on how much money you're making, whether it's worth it or not, kind of thing. Also, guys, I really need to take a leak, so I'm gonna call it. I don't want to leave you guys. I don't want to leave. Go to the rest.
Claims that he doesn't want to leave, first person to leave. Claims to not want to argue with you, types correct every possible situation. I'm over this, guys. But if you guys enjoyed the episode, let us know. We already did this bit in the beginning. We don't have to do it now. We'll see you guys in the next time. Bye.